This is a Nas song. I don't know if you know this song, but we're going to clap. Go with me. Okay. And a bit more life because I can see loads of life in the room. I know I can be what I want to be. If I work hard at it, I'll be where I want to be. I know I can be where I want to be. And if I work hard at it, I'll be where I want to be. Thank you. Okay, that's going to make sense as I continue speaking. I volunteer for a lot of different organizations, but one of my most cherished voluntary roles is as a Sunday school teacher. And I used to teach the 5 to 7 age group, and now I teach the 10 to 13 age group. And I remember one Sunday in particular, we were teaching the 5 to 7 year olds about having a dream, having ambition, because I believe that you can start at any age. And I remember the reason that we decided to do this was for 2 reasons. The first one is that I believe in creating an environment for young people to allow their childlike aspirations to flourish. And the second reason I believe in doing this, one of my firm convictions, is that we need to continue to cultivate a mentality where we realize our ability to live a life where our dreams are our reality. And I believe that there is no age limit or age bracket where this should start in. So I remember this Sunday in particular, I asked my 5 to 7 year old, what do you want to be when you grow up? One child said, when I grow up, I want to be a race car driver, a firefighter, a policeman, an actor, a singer, and a dancer. And I said, you know what? If you have the ambition, go ahead and do it. Another boy said, when I grow up, I want to be just like my dad. And it created a lot of oohs and ahs in the classroom by the teachers. But there was one girl I will never forget. Now, she had come from Eastern Africa, but she was being fostered by a Western African family. They came from Nigeria. And when I asked her the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? She said, when I grow up, I'm going to be a Nigerian. And my response was like that, but I had to laugh inside because I don't believe in trying to shatter aspirations. If she wants to change her heritage, so be it. It could be possible one day. When I was 4 years old, I remember sitting in my brother's bedroom of 81 Harlow House, Clarissa Street, London, E84HD. It doesn't exist anymore, so you can try to find the address if you want to. And my mum asked me a question. She said, when you grow up, what do you want to be? And I said, when I grow up, I'm going to be a milkman. And I was so confident in my ambition. And part of that came up with the fact of I used to love Postman Pat. I loved him so much. I remember my first ever performance was in nursery and I sang the theme tune so proudly in front of the juniors in an assembly. And I got a sticker and it said, I am a star, and I was so proud of that. The reason I love a lot of my ambition to want to be a milkman, I believe, came from the fact that I saw Postman Pat, and in my childlike mind, if I was a milkman and Postman Pat was a postman, then we could kind of work together. Now, in both of those instances, I know, again, childlike aspiration. In both of those instances, what I want to draw out is that her wanting to be a Nigerian and my wanting to be a milkman was based on what we saw. So what we wanted to be was influenced by what we could see. One of my favorite quotes, and I love quotes, is by a man called William Faulkner. And he said, you should always aim and shoot higher than you know you can. Don't just try to be better than your contemporaries or your predecessors. Aim to be better than yourself. The reason I love that quote is because it doesn't say I should try to be better than my sister, than my brother, than my grandmother, than anyone else. It kind of says set an aim and aim to be better than that. Why is that important? As we go forward, I can be who I want to be. Anyone in the world, I can be that person. But I believe that the decision and the choices I make first starts with me. What I see influences what I can be. How far I see influences what I can be. But how I see myself influences what I believe I can be. I often do workshops with young people. It's part of what I do and it's part of my passion. And the question I ask every set of young person that I work with is this: what do you want to be remembered for? And too many times, more than I'd like to admit, the question draws up blank faces. They're like, okay, but this is, that's too far ahead. We don't think about that. But the truth is, every single thing you do has an impact, And every single day you're being remembered in a way that you may not want to be remembered if you don't actively try to do something about that. I believe wholeheartedly that every single person that is born can make a difference, because you're making a difference every day. You may be making a difference in the climate, you may be making a difference in your phone bill, you may be making a difference somehow, but you're making a difference. I also believe that every single day, people have ideas that could potentially change our world. But sometimes, and this is where I'm coming in, I believe that our inability or our lack of actually seeing these ideas become a reality or actually making a difference that we want to is based on how we see ourselves. Sometimes we see ourselves as incapable. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not eloquent enough. Maybe I don't have enough experience. Maybe if I stand beside someone else, I'll just shrink in the background. And I believe how we see ourselves influences every single thing we want to do. There are loads of things that could affect the way we see ourselves, but I'm going to focus on 3. The first one I'm going to focus on is life experiences. Your life experiences determine a lot about you. Some people, if you weren't born in a bed of roses, I wasn't fortunate enough to be born in a bed of roses. Sometimes I thought I was given a lot of thorns. I don't know what I did, but that's what I was given. And our life experiences, sometimes some people feel like they go from rock to hard place and back from rock and back to hard place. And in walking through those hard seasons in our lives, we begin to see ourselves through the eyes of our circumstance. I'll give you an example. When I was 19 years old, and you can never control your life experiences. It's like you just kind of wake up in the day and just go on with the day. When I was 19 years old, my family became homeless and I lost every single thing I had owned from my birth up until the age of 19. Now, with that life experience, it shook my confidence, not because I was a materialistic person, but because it felt like the whole 19 years of my life, I had nothing to show for it. And for me to move forward, it was really hard. The second thing I believe that affects the way we see ourselves is fear. Now, I'm going to categorize fear into 3 points: fear of failure, fear of being insignificant, and there's a third one: fear of failure, fear of being insignificant, and fear of the unknown. Fear of failure, what do I mean? Sometimes the reason we don't do things, or sometimes the reason we don't go as far or be who we need to be, is because I'm scared I might fail. Has anyone ever felt like that before? Like failure seems like the worst thing that can happen to you. That was me a long time ago, and sometimes still now. I used to want to be a medical doctor. My aim in life was to be a pediatric consultant after wanting to be a milkman. And I remember they told me you have to do chemistry, biology, and physics and go and do medicine. But there was a problem. I'm not good at science. But my thing is, I need to be a doctor because one day I want to build women's refuges and orphanages around the world and change people's lives through medicine. But when I was at A-level, I did the same paper 5 times. Every single one of those times. And I failed every single time. The last time I just got a high U and they added it to another grade and I was able to go to university. When I was at university, after being a student society president, I decided, let me do something else. I want to become the vice president of the student union. But I lost the election. Now, in different things, those are just 2 things I'm drawing your attention to. But in different things in my life, I failed and that became the way I thought. Because there's a difference in failing. Failing doesn't make you a failure, but I didn't separate the 2. I failed, so I was a failure. But one of the things that ring truer now than it did then is that I have never been, and you will never be, defined by your failures or shortcomings. They only add credibility to your successes. The third thing is the events that we go through. Now, life, I believe, happens from event to event. So you're at this event today, you'll be inspired. And in a week or a couple of months' time, you'll go to another event and you'll be inspired. But the process from one event to the next is what makes us different. If I take everything I learn here today, it will challenge me in everything I do. And by the time I come to a next event, I'll be in a different place. And the fear of the unknown is the third thing. I don't know what tomorrow holds for me. None of us know what tomorrow holds, but sometimes because I don't know what can happen in tomorrow and how that may affect me, it may cause me to not want to move forward because I can't control that and I'm not in control of that. And sometimes we like to be in control of ourselves. I'm a bit of a control freak. I like to know where everything is, how everything is going to happen, and when it doesn't happen that way, it kind of sets me off balance. And sometimes the fear of the unknown and the fact of I don't know what tomorrow looks like will affect the things that I do. But the three things are life experiences, fear, and the third one that I kind of mixed in is the events. We can't control the events that happen in our lives. You can be exactly who you want to be, and you can go as far as you want to go. One of my favorite films is The Freedom Writers. And a quote that Erin Gruwell says to her students is, "We are all ordinary people, and it takes an ordinary person to switch on a light in a dark room because we are heroes every day." Every single day you wake up, and every single day you can choose to see yourself as who you want to be, or you can choose to see yourself through the eyes of fear, through the eyes of your circumstance, or just through the eyes of the fact that you may not think you're good enough. But one of the things I want to encourage you today and leave you with is that when we are awakened to see our potential, when we are awakened to think, do you know what, I could be the best I can possibly be, that circumstances can continue to arise in my life and things can come to challenge the very person I am. But the most courageous thing you could ever dare to do is to stand up, look things in the face and say, but I was born for this and I'm going to do something about it. That challenges could arise that affect the very way we live life. And through my life experiences that once were sent to kind of push me back, they propel me forward because they've made me who I am. And I choose to see myself as someone who can make a difference. Often I hear people say, Francesca, we need the right people in power to make the world a better place. I disagree. I think with enough people empowered, the world will be a better place. And I want everyone to clap with me again. Okay, we're still too fast. Slow down. I know I can be the change I want to see. But I know that it starts with the way I see me. I know I can be the change I want to see. But I know that it starts with the way I see me. Thank you for listening.